Kyle Larson dominates at the Charlotte Roval while 4 more contenders say goodbye to their playoff dreams. Let's talk about it. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Skylar Dagley and welcome back to another NASCAR post-race review. Today we're talking the 2024 race, the Bank of America 400 at the Charlotte Roval. Yeah, that's about that. I mean, we're going to talk about the Roval. My apologies, guys, if I sound like completely dead or anything. I am beyond burnt out right now. Just yesterday was like a 15-16 hour day for me, and I've been having them for the last 6 days, so I'm probably going to watch maybe half of Sunday Night Football tonight. Oh my god, did Najee Harris just get that touchdown? Please tell me that's Najee. Fantasy points, baby. Come on. Oh, it is Najee! Let's go! Let's go, baby. We need them points. Oh, is he down at the 1? Oh, I'm too busy talking about football. Come on. Count him in. Come on, Zebras. Count him in. Just give him the spot. Please. Oh, it's on the line. Whatever. But, yeah, I'm playing my best friend this week, so I need them fantasy points. But, let's talk about the Charlotte Roval. I am not gonna lie to y'all, I may just be extremely tired and I may just be extremely cranky, but this race bored me shitless. I'm just gonna keep it straight up front, and blunt. This race was a snooze fest in my opinion. But let's take a little race recap here. We started off very early on by Alex Bowman hopping over the blue turtles at the final curve. That's what I'm gonna call them, is the turtles. Man, he done bounced on those things. He got some whoop. He got some real hop on that. Also in stage 1, there was a really dumb moment where Bubba Wallace got a penalty for some reason, and yeah, William Byron did the exact same thing later, and it wasn't a penalty. Just confuses me. I didn't really understand that one too much, but not much you can do. Tyler Reddick did get the win in stage 1. I will say one somewhat compelling part about this race is that some guys would stay out and go for the stage points with the stage 1 strategy. Or some guys would go for points in stage 1. Some guys would go for the points in stage 2. Some guys you could just tell we're going for the race win. So Reddick got the stage 1 win. Who was it? Logano was racking up them points. I gotta say, for stage 1 and stage 2, Joey Logano was absolutely racking up the points. And then a moment early in stage 2 happened. Turn 7, man, the newly redesigned Roval. If this was the Gen 6 car, holy god, what a race we would have had here today. But this Gen 7 car, man. Oh. It ain't it on road courses. It really ain't. It ain't it on them road courses. But going into turn 7, I can't remember who got into Austin Dillon. It might have been Allmendinger or something like that. Maybe SVG. But Tyler Reddick didn't see the crash coming. He locks up the brakes, slides it into Denny Hamlin, which actually ends up giving them both damage. Reddick has to drop to the back, get a couple of pit stops done to make sure the damage is good. But luckily for him, he still gets to stay on the lead lap because it is a road course. And what else happened here? Yeah, so another free pit stop for him. Oh, I forgot to mention, very, very early in the race, Corey LaJoie blew a motor, so wanted to bring that up while it was on my mind. And in the middle of stage 2, Chase Briscoe blew out a tire. It created too much damage for the 14 car, which effectively eliminated Chase Briscoe from the playoffs. The Ford Performance Racing School number 14 was in the garage for the rest of the day. He was out. He was eliminated, which left 3 more drivers to be eliminated. We'll talk a bit more about Briscoe later on in the show. But what else do we have here? There's Tyler Reddick getting his pit stop. Oh my god, excuse me. But there was a little moment at the end of stage 2 between Joey Logano and Daniel Suarez where they were just getting into it side by side for the whole last part of the lap there. So and they were just beating hammer and tongues. Allmendinger was able to pass them both. It was quite an entertaining moment. Kyle Larson would have been locked in at this point. And yeah, who won stage 2? Alex Bowman, man. Alex Bowman, he's had a hell of a run these playoffs. Alex Bowman, he's been racking up the points whenever he can. Bowman's been doing a great job these playoffs. Definitely the 48 team deserves a shout out. They've been having a great playoffs, a great performance all season. They deserve their flowers. They deserve a shout out. Good job. What's his face? Blake Harris. Funny story. When we were in New Hampshire, we were on pit road before practice. It's just slightly raining outside, and we watched William Byron and Alex Bowman just talk before they get ready for practice, and Blake Harris is standing next to us under this tent, and he's literally there like this, trying to figure out if it's raining. He's not even looking. He's just... So, I thought that was a funny Blake Harris moment that I knew. But, yeah, so by the start of stage 3, Byron had already advanced before the race. Bell and Larson had locked themselves in on points. They were all good, and it was actually really funny. The final restart in stage 3 was... those 3 were the top 3, crazily enough. But, yeah, Larson got the lead. A little bit of strategy there. Allmendinger did have the lead. Larson put it underneath Allmendinger at turn 7. I will say turn 7 is such a positive change for the Roval. It was, in my opinion, this Roval race was a lot better than the Roval race last year. But, it definitely needs some work. It's more NASCAR's fault more than anybody's. But, man, it was definitely refreshing to see battles at turn 7. And I mean, a lot of cars could clip and spin and all this fun stuff. It definitely made for more chaos. And like everybody says with F1 tracks, you need to make sharper braking zones, and heavier braking zones and all that. Which I really looked forward to having this new turn 7. And I mean, I know most drivers and most fans weren't looking forward to it because it's like, it's just meant to create chaos. But like, no, if these drivers actually treat the braking zone with respect, this is actually a great overtaking zone in my opinion. So that's just my thoughts on the whole situation. Larson was able to drive away with the lead. Then Austin Dillon blew out a tire, so we had to rack them all up again. And then I gotta say this on this caution, I believe Tyler Reddick. I believe it was this caution where Tyler Reddick made that pit stop. Yeah, he was 11 points behind Logano, got fresh tires. He restarted like 30th or something like that. Drove all the way up to 11th by the end of this race and was able to lock himself in on points. Bravo, Billy Scott and Tyler Reddick. That was a hell of a drive. That was a hell of a drive by the 45 team. They did a phenomenal job there. And, well, other than spinning Daniel Hemrick, well, it wasn't really anybody's fault. It's just Reddick locked the brakes up on the rear tires and then got loose trying to save it. And then his looseness, that's a weird word to say. And, yeah, he just slid up into Hemrick, and then without Daniel Hemrick spinning out, Tyler Reddick would have been the one spinning out. So Daniel Hemrick better be the first name on Tyler Reddick's Christmas list if he does well in the round of 8, I'll say that much. But with all that, it virtually, there's no overtaking really. And I mean, yeah, Kyle Larson, he won his way into the, he was already locked in, but he won the Charlotte Roval. He got the race win. He's through to the round of 8. And our round of 8 consists of Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Tyler Reddick. Alright, let's talk about the playoff exits. Actually, I lie. We're going to talk about the finishing results first. So Kyle Larson gets the win, followed by Christopher Bell, William Byron, Austin Cindric, who in my opinion did actually drive a very good race, but came up just short. Good effort is what it is. Chase Elliott beats out AJ Allmendinger and Shane Van Gisbergen, the two colleague boys. Well, Shane Van Gisbergen is really a trackhouse boy, but it is what it is. Joey Logano actually had a really solid day in my opinion. I did not expect Logano to be in the top 10 all day, and let alone the top 5, so shout out to Joey Logano. I think he drove a good race. Bubba Wallace, another driver who unexpectedly drove a great race. Bubba was even in second at one point. I'm like, how did he get there? Bubba in the top 3 at a road course is like a polar bear in Arlington, Texas. Shout out to the ones who know that meme. But Ryan Blaney rounds it out with a top 10. Good run for Yerb. Then rounding out your top 15, you have Tyler Reddick, Carson Hocevar, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, who was really in the mid-20s all day, so good for Denny pulling out a 14th. If he would have been in the mid-20s, he probably would have been eliminated. Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse. I actually thought Ricky Stenhouse drove a decent race today. Chris Buescher, for someone who's really upped his road course standards, the Roval was really an off day for Chris Buescher. Alex Bowman just never really got that track position back after the stage win. Todd Gilliland, Zane Smith, Harrison Burton, and Harrison Burton beat Martin Truex. Good lord. Martin Truex, Josh Berry, Brad Keselowski, Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Preece, Justin Haley, Kaz Gralla, Ross Chastain, who actually got caught up in a spin, I believe, with SVG in turn 7, Josh Bilicki, Daniel Suarez, Noah Gragson, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, John Henry Nemechek, Ty Gibbs, Chase Briscoe. Ty Gibbs also had an engine failure too, I should mention that. Chase Briscoe 37th, and Corey LaJoie in the 38th position. Now we'll talk about the eliminated drivers. Well, starting off with our first one eliminated, the number 14 car of Chase Briscoe. Sucks that the Stewart-Haas fairy tale could not continue. It was great to see Chase get this far in the playoffs. No one even had Chase Briscoe in the playoffs to begin with. I mean, if you were looking at the top 16 in points without wins, Briscoe was honestly in contention for that throughout the whole season. So I'm happy he got to race in the playoffs. I'm happy he was able to take Tony Stewart's team this far while he could. But unfortunately, any championship hopes in Stewart-Haas's final season have come to an end. Nothing to be ashamed of if you're Chase Briscoe, in my opinion. Driving under par equipment and taking up to the big boys week in and week out is something to be very proud of. I think Chase Briscoe has got nothing to be ashamed of. And I mean, if he could have got past this round, I think those last few rounds would have shaped up very well for him. Would he had the pace of some, like the Gibbs guys, the Hendrick guys, the Penske guys, or even the 2311 guys? Probably not. But worth a try at least. But anyway, who else we got? Daniel Suarez would have been the next one up. The Roval was the track I was really looking for Daniel Suarez, but just did not show up. Just was not his day at the Roval. I mean, he was in the top 5, top 10 at points, but just was not the day. I mean, all the Trackhouse cars were not great today, to be honest, but oh well, what can you do? I mean, Suarez did make some bonehead mistakes at Talladega. If he didn't have that penalty, he would have been a lot better off, but yeah, that's just racing sometimes. I knew he wasn't going to be very good at Kansas. It is what it is. That's just how the story goes. It's just how the story goes. Who else we got here? I believe, yes, Austin Cindric would have been your next driver eliminated. So, I mean, with Austin Cindric, he did everything he could. I mean, I think both Cindric and Logano are going to think back to Talladega a lot and think what could have been. Cindric did come close. I mean, with a 4th place finish at the Roval, that's nothing to be ashamed of. I took Cindric in my fantasy leagues this week. I thought he was going to be a great one to watch. I mean, in must-win situation, he went balls to the walls. He did everything he could. He just did not have the faster car like a Larson, a Bell, or a Byron. So here's what it is. I think Austin Cindric had a great playoffs. He really did. I mean, back at Atlanta, he drove great. Watkins Glen, I think he did pretty decent. Bristol was all right. Even Kansas. Actually, yeah, he had a good Kansas until he got wrecked. Looking back at that Kansas wreck won't be great for him. And then Talladega, he was leading the race until the biggest wreck in NASCAR history happened. And yeah, a great race at the Roval. Nothing to be ashamed of for Austin Cindric either. And then Joey Logano, the even year Joey Logano theme. That's curtains. That's absolutely curtains. Maybe in 2025 Logano will have a better year, but this year was definitely not Joey Logano's year. Probably, honestly, if you think about it, he probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs if it wasn't for those 5 overtimes and fuel mileage at Nashville. But it is what it is. That's how the story goes sometimes. You got to get here somehow, and that's how Joey Logano got his way here. So, good for Joey Logano, and yeah. Unfortunately, it's not his year to win the championship. Let's look at the round of 8 for Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. Let's meet the drivers and their current points heading into the round of 8. And here you are, ladies and gentlemen. Here is your round of 8. Kyle Larson plus 33, Christopher Bell plus 13, Tyler Reddick plus 10, William Byron plus 4, Ryan Blaney minus 4, Denny Hamlin minus 8, Chase Elliott minus 9, and Alex Bowman minus 16. Honestly, if you want any early predictions now, I do not think Chase Elliott's making it to the Final Four. Maybe Denny Hamlin, maybe, but he just doesn't have the momentum, in my opinion. He just does not have the momentum. I feel like if anybody from those Final Four are gonna, I also feel like Blaney, honestly, you could see, oh my god, I'm going through so many Final Fours, but looking at this at a rough draft, you could honestly make a solid point that it's going to be the same Final Four as last year. Larson, Bell, Blaney, and Byron. I think Ryan Blaney is going to make it again because Ford is now going to dump all their resources into him. Ford is usually crazy good at Phoenix, so look out for Blaney. Just especially at Martinsville, look out for Blaney. Bowman could definitely point his way in. If anybody's going to point their way in from this round of 8, I know it's crazy to say considering Bowman's minus 16, but Alex Bowman's gained so many points during these playoffs. He definitely deserves a shout out, and I definitely do not think he's out of it. Excuse me, but honestly, I think this is the round Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott go out, personally. I mean, Denny Hamlin could definitely go in Vegas, Miami, or Martinsville. He could win all 3. He realistically could. He's that good at those tracks, but where's the momentum for the 11 team right now? The playoffs are all about momentum. Denny Hamlin is going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, in my opinion. William Byron, yeah. No, he's got solid momentum on his side. He's really turned it around that round of 12. I don't think he's finished outside the top 5 since Bristol. So, good on the 24 team. They've shown up when it matters most. Fair play to them. Tyler Reddick. I mean, maybe he can sneak his way into that Final Four, but like, the playoffs really have not suited him so far. I mean, the only reason he's here is because of a great call by Billy Scott to put him on offense and attack, but yeah, I mean, if there's anything that can give the 45 momentum, it's going to have to be that clutch run at the Roval and that great call by Billy Scott. But if you want my rough opinion for a Final Four, I'm saying it's the exact same Final Four as last year. Larson, Bell, Blaney, and Byron. That's my Final Four picks as of right now. And now it is time to put the Charlotte Roval on the Schuyler scale. Wasn't a good race. Wasn't a good race in my opinion. Had some exciting moments, but wasn't a good race. The max I can give this race is a 55%. Call me a hater. Call me a hater. I just did not enjoy today's race. I was laying down on my couch for most of it, half asleep. I was bored. I was well and truly bored for most of it. Stage 2 got a little exciting. The Austin Dillon caution made it a little bit exciting. Tyler Reddick's greatness at the end made it a little bit exciting. But it just wasn't enough great racing overall, in my opinion. Maybe a 60. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm giving it a 55. But yeah, that's how we're going to end off the 2024 Charlotte Roval. Leave your championship 4 picks in the comments down below. I'm really, really interested to see what you guys pick here. This could be a very interesting last 8. 2014 style? I don't know. But I think Larson's a shoe-in. He's great at all these tracks. As long as Larson don't shoot himself in the foot at Vegas, I think Larson's going to be fine. But, yeah. Leave your guys' Final Four in the comments down below, and I will see you guys for the next post-race review after Las Vegas this time next week. Take care, and peace!